Yo, what's going on, boys? It's Yap MMA back with another video. Today, we are going to be matchmaking and predicting the main card for UFC 314 in Miami. I think it's in April. I think it's about mid-April in Miami. Gonna be a good pay-per-view. There's not many fights booked right now. There's nothing that's guaranteed or locked in for Miami so far. There's some predictions, some expected fights on that card, but I'm gonna be matchmaking the entire main card, giving you guys what I believe will be the main card. I think it'll be a good pay-per-view. I think it'll be a good pay-per-view. Anything's a good pay-per-view after UFC 312. Anything's a blessing after UFC 312. So we will take whatever we can get, man. As many ranked matchups as we can get, as many, title matchups that we can get, we'll take it, man. We will take it. Before we get on into it, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and let's get into it, boys. Starting off, boys, with the first fight of the main card, Paulo Costa versus Bo Nickel. This is a sleeper fight, man. This has been, potential fight for a little bit. It seems to be rumored. It's been rumored for a little. For some reason they fucking ranked Bo Nickel. Who knows why? Who knows why Bo Nickel is ranked, man? Absolute crash out. Absolute crash out. I saw when Bo Nickel got ranked, I was like, yo, yeah, we're cooked, man. We're cooked ranking Bo Nickel in 2025 right now, man. Why is Bo Nickel in the rankings? Nonetheless, this might be the only fight in a long, long time where I will be rooting for Paulo Costa heavy, man. If this fight is booked, UFC 314, I will be rooting for Paulo Costa like my life depends on it, boys. I will be buying a fuck ton of secret juice, man, a fuck ton of secret sauce, whatever the case may be, bro. I am rooting for Paulo Costa. I'm gonna get a Paulo Costa t-shirt. I'm gonna get some secret juice, man. I'm gonna have a night. I'm gonna have a night because I think I'm gonna be picking Paulo Costa in this fight. I think he takes Bo Nickel 0. I'm so serious, boys. We need him to take Bo Nickel 0. I can't stand Bo Nickel 2025 in the rankings, moving up the rankings, thinking he can maul Hamzat. All right, saying, hey man, I'm the best wrestler in the UFC. I haven't even had to use my wrestling yet. I thought freaking Paul Craig didn't even have to use my wrestling and won. Guys, like, shut it down, Bo Nickel. Shut it down. We need this slander. We need to slander the fuck out of Bo Nickel, man. After that performance against Paul Craig, even his last performances, man, like, he's been given these little layup fights, and now he's somehow in the rankings after beating Paul Craig by unanimous decision in the most boring overhand right fight I've ever seen in my entire life. This guy was spamming overhand rights like it was a video game. Like, what are we doing? There's no way Bo Nickel is in the rankings. What is he doing in the rankings? I could go on a rant for like 20 minutes about him being in the rankings. I'm not going to, all right? I am going to be picking Paulo Costa if this fight gets booked. I think Paulo Costa's fucking due, man. He's been needing to fight down the rankings. Why did he fight Sean Strickland? Don't know. Why did he fight all these dudes in the top of the rankings when he is it's like, who he reminds me of? He reminds me of Michael Chandler, man. Why is this dude constantly fighting up? It's the exact same thing. It's the exact same scenario, bro. It's the exact same scenario. So this fight needs to be booked. I think it's very, very winnable matchup for Paulo Costa. I think Bo Nickel will be losing a 0 in 2025. If it's not to Paulo Costa, it will be to somebody else. But I will be picking Paulo Costa. I think it's a good matchup. I think Paulo Costa can keep it on the feet, man. I think he can keep it on the feet. Bo Nickel is not this wrestling god demon thing that he's been talking about, man, because he went 15 minutes with Paul Craig and just spammed overhand rights like it was a video game. All right, like it was an old video game. What are we doing? An old fighting game. This guy thinks he's the man. He's not the man. We need Bo Nickel to shut it down and tone down his cockiness, man. We need, for the first time ever, I want Paulo Costa to win a fight. So I'm going to be repping Paulo Costa if this fight gets booked. But I think this will be opening up the main card of UFC 314. It makes sense in the rankings. It's a fun matchup, to be honest. I think it will be a fun fight. I don't know if it'll be a finish, but I think Paulo Costa will take this fight by decision, man. But we will move on to the next fight. Yan Xiaonan versus Verna Jandiroba. Actually a good fight, man. Actually a good women's fight that I actually want to see on the main card of UFC 314. And I'd actually be happy to watch this fight. Yan Xiaonan is a very, very fun women's fighter. Verna Jandiroba always looking for a finish. Raul Rosas Jr., women's version, man. Verna Jandiroba, she's an interesting fighter. And Yan Xiaonan, man, she's a fun fighter. She always brings the pace. She always throwing punches, throwing hands nonstop. I think it's going to be a really fun women's fight. I think it'll be a fun women's fight. I do believe it will go the distance, but, this is a top contender matchup. Winner of this fight gets a title shot, man. Winner of this fight gets a title shot. Yan Xiaonan lost to Zhang Wei Li, but she put up a scrap in that fight. She just destroyed Tabitha Ricci absolutely destroyed her. Tabitha Ritchie couldn't do anything against Yan Xiaonan. And Verna Jandiroba is coming off of a submission, I believe. Both these girls are very well rounded. I think this will be a very fun fight to have on the main card, to be honest. If there was a ranking woman fight, this is one that's actually exciting, that actually has title implications. It's gonna be a decent fight, and I think this will be booked for UFC 314. Put it on the main card. I'm not mad about it. If you guys are mad about it, let me know in the comments down below. But I'm not mad about this fight being on the main card, to be honest. But we will move on to the next fight that I believe will be on the main card of UFC 314 Miami, and that is, you already know, Beneil Dariush versus Patty the Batty Pimblett, bro. This fight, it's just so evident. Beneil Dariush, he was supposed to fight Renato Moicano at UFC 311. Obviously, Moicano fought Islam. Beneil Dariush was left with nothing. I do believe he did get paid for that, at least. I think he did get paid. So he got paid in full for not even fighting, so good for him. But, he had a full training camp. He's going to want to fight, man. And Patty Pimblett has expressed that he wants to fight up in the rankings. Of course, he expressed that he has a fight booked, and he's only about a month and a half out, which matches up with UFC 314, man. I think he's fighting in Miami against Beneil Dariush. This fight makes sense. Patty said that he doesn't want to fight Gamrot. He doesn't want to fight Michael Chandler. Like him and Michael Chandler, of course, they've talked about fighting, but he's kind of friends with Michael Chandler, man. I don't see them fighting. Michael Chandler's going to fight. Fuck, is he going to fight Arman Sarukian? I don't even know. We'll see. But Patty Pimblett versus Beneil Dariush, very winnable matchup for Patty Pimblett. But Beneil Dariush could get back in the winnings against Patty Pimblett, man. This is a good fight. This is a very good fight. I think their grappling will be close. It's gonna really depend on who's got the better hands. And honestly, Beneil Dariush can throw hands, man. People forget he can throw hands. He has knockout power. So does Patty Pimblett. So I think this is a good fight. This is a good fight to have on the main card of 314. If Patty wins, he moves into the top 10, and then he's going to be looking for a title implication fight or a title eliminator. He can look for a title eliminator in the top 5. And that's interesting, man. That's an interesting thing. So I think this will be a fun fight. I think this will be booked UFC 314 because I do believe Gamrot and Fiziev will rematch. I did think that maybe Patty would be fighting Gamrot, but he expressed he doesn't want to fight Gamrot. Doesn't look like he's going to be fighting Chandler. Chandler is, I think he's fighting Saruki, and we don't even know anymore, man. I hope not, but we will see. But I think Patty Pimblett versus Beneil Dariush, UFC 314 main card, it's a good fight. It's a good fight, and I think it's going to be a fun one. But we will move on to the co-main event. Man, Diego Lopes versus Alexander Volkanovski, 5-round co-main event. This is a banger. We need this fight, man. Diego Lopes versus Rodriguez was canceled. Thankfully, man, that fight made no sense for Diego Lopes. Now we got him talking about wanting to fight Volkanovski on UFC 314. This would be an absolutely great fight. This would be a great fight, man. 5 rounds. It needs to be a 5-rounder. This is a great opportunity for Volkanovski to get back in the winnings, in the win column. Prove that he still deserves a title shot to try to get that belt back. And it also gives a chance for Diego Lopes to have a title eliminator to really certify himself to deserve that title shot. This is an amazing matchup. I think it'll be super scrappy, and I think it's very winnable for Volkanovski, man. Diego Lopes has power, but I don't think he can sleep Volkanovski like Ilya did, man. I think it's a bad idea for Volkanovski to dive right back into another fight with Ilya Topuria. I think he will get knocked out again, So I think this is a much more winnable fight. A much more winnable fight for Volkanovski, and it's a good fight for Diego Lopes. He's expressed he wants to fight Volkanovski. He's one of the GOATs. You want to fight Alexander Volkanovski, that is a great person to have on your resume. That's a great person to have on your resume. And if he beats Alexander Volkanovski, he fights Ilya Topuria. It's said and done. You don't even need to rematch Evloev, because Evloev is gonna be gone for starting February 28th, man, for Ramadan. He's gonna be gone. So book these guys. UFC 314 co-main event 5-rounder. This is an absolute fight of the night. It's an absolute fight of the night. It's a no-brainer. It's an absolute no-brainer. But we will move on to the main event of UFC 314. I think this is going to be what the fight is. And I do believe it will be Kai Kara-France versus Alessandro Pantoja, the Cannibal versus Kai Kara-France. I think this is a good fight. I think it is a good fight. It's not the most exciting wow fight, but it is a good fight nonetheless, man. It's a good fight nonetheless. I mean, Pantoja is an absolute beast at 125. He seemed unstoppable. He's on a huge win streak, been defending his title a few times. Kai Kara-France just had a nice knockout over Steve Erceg. Does he deserve a title shot after that win? No, but the thing is, Alessandro Pantoja has ran through almost everybody in the division. You know, he got rid of Roy Val, he got rid of Moreno, he got rid of the top guys, man. And the guys that were on the come up like Tatsuro Taira and Amir Albazi lost to both Brandons. So like Pantoja basically is left with nobody, So give him Kai Kara France. It's a good fight. I do believe the cannibal will take this one. I think Pantoja is undeniable for a while, man. Unless he decides to move up to 135, I think he continues to dominate 125. He likes to stay active. He fought UFC 310, UFC 3 yeah, UFC 310. Submitted what's his name? The other Kai Asakura. Kai Kara France was like, "Hey, you got the wrong Kai." So book this fight, man. I think this would be a good fight. The press conference would be pretty fun. I think they'd be yapping at each other, and I think it would be an entertaining flyweight matchup. Of course, a lot of people don't like having flyweight matchups as, the main fight on the main card, but Pantoja's proved to make himself, a bit of a star. Pantoja's a star. People can't accept that Alessandro Pantoja is a star at flyweight and is one of the best flyweights of all time. He called out Demetrius Johnson. Of course, Johnson wasn't coming back, man. He's retired, but Pantoja is looking like he's going to become one of the flyweight goats, if not the flyweight goat, if he keeps up on this winning spree and on this absolute dominant tear through flyweight. There's nobody to put Pantoja up against. They had to get Kai Asakura from Japan to fight him, man, from Ryzen to fight him. So if he beats Kai Kara France, they'll probably feed him another Brandon. But dude, how long is it going to take to realize that Pantoja he's almost a top 5 pound for pound, man. He beats Kai Kara France and he beats another Brandon, He's literally top 5 pound for pound. Gotta put some respect on his name. And I think he takes this fight. I think he will submit Kai Kara France in round 2, round 3. I see it getting done, man. I see Pantoja winning this fight. He's just too scrappy, too good of cardio, and his BJJ is great. It's amazing. But that is my entire UFC 314 main card breakdown. If you guys did enjoy the video, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button as always. Drop your comments down below. If you guys think this is a good UFC 314 main card or what you guys would do to change this card. But I will see you guys in the next one. See you.